What is good and welcome to Chatwin. I'm Jack, your British goat, and today we're reacting to every NBA team's best centre of all time. Now I'm looking forward to this one. Like I said, it's all that history type of videos we're doing recently. I'm getting more names in my mind of players, because when I hear the commentators and players and even interviews mentioning players from a period of history ago, that made no sense. I need to learn these players. And centres, the only centre I can literally name to you right now is the number 7 for the Thunder, Holmgren, because he impressed me so much in the finals. I can't, or is Joel Embiid? I'm a 76ers fan. There's a team I'm going to follow. Is Embiid a centre? I don't know. Let's find out who. What awful intro that was.
Dikembe Mutombo. Dikembe has done a lot of finger wagging.
I just don't redo shit. I ain't like these other channels.
2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, a rebounding title, and made Atlanta a winning franchise post-Dominique. Honorable mention goes to Al Horford, who was there for 9 years and made 4 All-Star teams. Boston Celtics. Bill Russell. 11 NBA championships in 13 seasons.
So I think these are all going to be old, aren't
Brook
they?
Lopez. Although he's a spot-up shooter right now, Brook Lopez used to be one of the best post scorers in the NBA in the era before the three-point revolution, which seems like ancient times, even though it was 5-6 years ago. By playing great old-school basketball.
I'll say obviously this video is 4 years old, I want to say. So there is going to be players that maybe right now are the best centers on their team. They're not going to be part of it. So let me know down in the comments, of course. The only other one I think is going to be on here, either for the Lakers or the Magic, we're going to see Shaq.
Became the best
Other
scorer
than that,
in Nets history.
I can't think
he
of
still
anyone.
holds to this day, and that's why he's the best Nets center ever. Charlotte Hornets, Alonzo Mourning. The highest paid center in Hornets history is Bismack Biyombo. Funny, right? This fact will tell you that Mourning's competition for the title of best Hornets center wasn't very steep, despite Zoe playing only 3 seasons with the team. Mourning averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks in Charlotte, and nobody came even close to those numbers after that. Chicago Bulls, Artis Gilmore. The Bulls had 3 successful eras in their history. Obviously, there was the MJ era, but they never had a dominant center during the Jordan years, and the best center post-Jordan was Joakim Noah. A few years before MJ came along, Artis Gilmore was the main man in Chicago, and he averaged 19 points.
Yeah, I can't even think who the center was
in the 4 All-Star selections. Cleveland Cavaliers, Brad Daugherty. Some will say that the best center who ever played for Cleveland is LeBron's huge running mate, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, but we'd go with the one center who came before him, the great Brad Daugherty. Sure, the Big Z played more seasons for the Cavs, which means he climbed all their leaderboards past his predecessor, but I'd choose prime Daugherty over the 7'3" Lithuanian every day, because he'd give me an efficient 20 and 10 every night and had 5 All-Star seasons for the Cavs compared to 2 for Ilgauskas. Dallas Mavericks, Sean Bradley. Centers were never Dallas's forte, and they usually built their teams around guards or wings, and later around this blonde German kid named Dirk. Their longest tenure center,
I would say, I thought Dirk was a center, but I guess
Bradley.
not.
Bradley played 9 seasons for the Mavs, and he was known for his defensive presence and being a poster target for many players trying to dunk over him. Still, Bradley is the franchise leader in block shots with 1,250 rejections.
Wow.
He's also 4th in rebounds, and that's why he deserves this pick. Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic. When he's in shape, he's the best offensive center in the NBA, always ready to pull some David Copperfield stuff that no one expected. Nikola Jokic is an offensive juggernaut, and there is not anything he could do on the basketball court. I mean, he can't guard the rim that well, he can't run fast or do anything remotely athletic, but he is still the best passing center to ever play, and he makes his teammates better. And that's why we gave him a nod over Dikembe. Detroit Pistons, Bob Lanier. Drafted first overall,
I guess with Jokic,
Bob
like,
Lanier
you
was
play
the best
around
NBA
it.
center in the 70s, not named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. With 7 All-Star selections in 10 years with the Pistons and averages of 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 blocks, he is easily the best center to ever play in Motor City, despite the lack of significant playoff success. Honorable mention goes to 4-time Defensive Player of the Year Ben Wallace and 4-time All-Star and 2-time champ with the Pistons Bill Laimbeer. Golden State Warriors, Wilt Chamberlain.
I guess that makes sense. Oh, fucking ads. As always, when we got the ads, make sure you're hitting the like button and the subscribe button. Help me make sure there's no ads on this channel anymore.
Before the team moved to San Francisco. Even though his championships came as a 76er upon the return to Philly, and then with the Lakers, Wilt was at his best as a Warrior.
I should say as well, the reason I have it so fast, it's only on like 1.25, but these videos tend to be quite long, and I don't want to sit here for a long time recording. You don't want to watch it for a long time, so we kind of. But if you don't like it, let me know in the comments, and we'll change it if enough of you say you don't like it.
Dubs, Wilt averaged 41.5 points and 25 rebounds, and those numbers speak for themselves. Houston Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon. With 17 seasons with the team, 12 All-Star selections, and the only 2 championships in franchise history, Hakeem the Dream is the clear-cut #1 and the best overall player that ever played in Houston. Olajuwon is the most complete center ever, and despite a steep competition with Moses Malone and Yao Ming, who had great years with the Rockets,
Yao Ming was someone I thought would be on this
Indiana
list.
Pacers, Rick Smits. The Duncan Dutchman was a synonym for the Pacers in the 90s, just like Reggie Miller, as both players never played for any team other than Indiana. At 7'4", blonde as they come, Smits was one of the most recognizable players in the league, and he was a starting center of some of the best Pacers teams in history. With the averages of 15 points and 6 rebounds in 867 games for Indiana, he's at the top of almost all Pacers leaderboards. Honorable mention goes to Mel Daniels, a 2-time MVP for the Pacers when they played in the ABA. In 6 seasons, he played for the team. Los Angeles Clippers, Bob McAdoo. The Clippers are the least storied franchise in the NBA, and one of only 2 teams that have never been to the conference finals. Players didn't stay there for too long, and there isn't anyone with his
Which was
jersey
one of the reasons I wanted to
partly
choose
because
the
the Clippers
Clippers,
don't
but
have their own arena. So the best player in team history didn't even play with the Clippers across his chest, as the team was then called the Braves and
obviously
played their
went
home games in
Philadelphia
Buffalo. However,
across
in his
every
5 years with the
team.
team, Bob McAdoo was a stud. He's the only player in franchise history with an MVP award, along with 3-time scoring titles and averages of 28.2 points and 12.7
Plus, I
rebounds.
hate James
Los
Harden.
Angeles Lakers, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Even
Makes
though
sense.
Wilt was there, and even though Shaq won 3 in a row, there is no argument that the captain is the best center who ever suited up in purple and gold. Kareem came to the Lakers after a title in
I forgot he was there, to
Milwaukee,
be
and
honest.
he
That's
played
when I said
14 more
Shaq
years in
for,
love. Together with Magic, he won 5
I don't know. I
championships,
would
along
still
with
say
3
Shaq for
MVPs
Lakers
and
from what I've
numerous
seen.
other individual honors. With 1,093 appearances for the Lakers, he's the second all-time team leader in games
He's
played
been
behind
there for a
Kobe,
long
and is
time,
at the
yeah.
top of all major statistical categories. Memphis Grizzlies, Marc Gasol. Memphis Grizzlies history
Makes
is
sense.
written with the name Gasol, as their 2 best franchise players were the 2 Spanish brothers, both future Hall of Famers. First, it was Pau, who came to the league in 2000.
The thing is, what amazes me the most about this one is he had never played in the NBA when his brother got traded to but part of the trade was the rights to his brother.
2001,
Yeah.
he immediately made an impact. He won Rookie of the Year and turned the Grizzlies into a winning team before moving to LA to win championships with Kobe. To trade for Pau, the Lakers sent Marc Gasol to the Grizzlies, who wasn't expected to be as good. However, it turned out that the younger brother was even more important for the franchise, which enjoyed its most successful years with Marc in the middle.
That's
Miami
really
Heat,
cool, though.
Alonzo Mourning. You could argue that the Shaquille O'Neal signing brought the superstar pedigree and championship to Miami, and thus say that the Big Diesel is the greatest Heat center ever, but you'd be wrong. It was Alonzo Mourning
I
who first
forgot
took
he
his
went
talents
to
to
the
South
Heat,
Beach
yeah.
and turned the franchise into a winner and perennial contender in the late 90s. Zoe won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards before he was sidelined with kidney transplantation. In the second stint with the franchise, he helped them win the aforementioned title alongside Shaq and D. Wade. Milwaukee Bucks, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Another easy choice, and another easy win for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Bucks won the coin flip that secured them the first pick in the 1969 NBA draft, and it was a no-brainer to pick the most dominant player in NCAA history. Kareem would win the only championship for the Bucks franchise in just his second season, together with 3 MVP awards and the averages of 30 points and 15 rebounds per game. Even though he left after 6 years, he set the bar too high for anyone.
He's
and
literally
still the
appeared
best
on
player
every
to ever
list,
play
regardless
Minnesota
of
Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah,
The
makes
Minnesota
sense.
Timberwolves won just 2 playoff series in their 30 years as an NBA franchise, and both of them came in the 2004 playoffs when Kevin Garnett was the best player in the NBA. Like the Clippers, the Wolves always struggled to keep the players in Minneapolis due to weather, lack of talent, and poor management. So, the best center in franchise history is playing for the team right now, and he only played 5 seasons for them. Karl Anthony Towns is a generational talent and one of the best shooting big men who ever played, with the averages of 22.7 points and 11.8 rebounds. New Orleans Pelicans, Anthony Davis. Per Basketball Reference, Anthony Davis has been listed as a center in several seasons for the Pels, and then it's a no-brainer to put him on this list. The first pick in the 2012 draft had an unpleasant departure from the team, and he only made the postseason twice in New Orleans. But it was to a little
now he's at the
management
Mavericks,
never put a
isn't
solid
it?
team around him, and they were also extremely unlucky with injuries.
Yeah,
But when he
he
was
gets
healthy,
injured a
AD
lot.
showed everybody that he is a unique blend of size, length, speed, and skill, and that he is one of the top 5 players in the league. New York Knicks, Patrick Ewing.
Obviously, this video
Another
must be a
no-brainer
couple
here.
years
The best
old.
player and the best center in Knicks history is Patrick Ewing. With Ewing at the helm, the Knicks were a synonym for perennial playoff appearances, toughness, and grit, and were a proper representative of New York City, which is everything the Knicks ceased to be in this millennium when Ewing retired. Unfortunately, his great career wasn't crowned with a championship, despite 2 finals appearances and 11 All-Star selections. Oklahoma City Thunder, Jack Sikma. The best
Really?
center in OKC's 12-year history is probably Steven Adams. But since the OKC counts the Seattle Supersonics title in history as their own, their best center gotta be Jack Sikma. In 9 seasons with the Sonics, Goldilocks won a title, made 7 All-Star teams, and
I don't know if
16.8
you should
points
count
and
that.
10.8 rebounds in 715 games. Orlando Magic, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I thought so.
The best center in Orlando's history is a Superman. But which one? The 3-time Defensive Player of the Year who defeated LeBron and got to the finals in 2009? Or is it the original, who was much better offensively and who defeated Jordan and got to the finals in 95? I'm going with the Diesel on this one, even though Howard has an argument for playing 8 seasons in Orlando compared to Shaq's 4. Philadelphia 76ers, Wilt Chamberlain. No disrespect to Moses Malone and his faux title with the Sixers in the 80s, but Wilt's 4.5 years were better. He wasn't as offensively potent as he was for the Philadelphia Warriors, but he still averaged 27, 24, and 7 and led the league in field goal percentage each year as a Sixer. Wilt also won his and franchise's first title, led the league in assists, and he's still the only center with this accomplishment. Phoenix Suns, Amari Stoudemire. Similarly to Anthony Davis, Amari Stoudemire was nominally a power forward who played a center in the Phoenix Suns' 7 seconds or less offense with 4 shooters. Stat was deadly in the pick and roll with Steve Nash. He could jump out the gym and developed a smooth mid-range jumper that made him unstoppable on offense.
But
He
Nash
averaged
obviously
21.4
made
points
him
and 9
better
boards as a
than
Sun and was one of the most
what he
exciting
was.
players to watch in his prime. Portland Trailblazers.
Oh my fucking god. 2 adverts. Fuck me. You can't make this shit up.
Bill Walton. Bill Walton didn't play a lot for Portland, but when he did, he was the best center in the league. The first time he was healthy enough for the playoffs, Walton won the only championship in Blazers history, averaging 18.5
Again,
points,
I feel like
and 5.2 assists
it's
in the
just-
finals.
it's too
Sacramento Kings,
history-based.
DeMarcus Cousins. Even though Vlade Divac played a key role in the most successful era
because
of the
you could
Kings
have
franchise,
okay for this you could have picked someone that
played
when they were the
on bad
Royals.
teams that didn't utilize his talent enough, and he never made the playoffs. But if we look at the output on the court, his 21 points and 11 rebounds in 470 games are the best numbers for any Kings center. San Antonio Spurs, David Robinson. Here, there is no dilemma, and David Robinson is easily the best Spurs center. Admiral is a 2-time champion, 10-time All-Star, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, a scoring champion, and he's just one of 16 players to average 20 and 10 for an entire career. Toronto Raptors, Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh is the name, and mid-range scoring is the game. Oh, it was beautiful to watch CB as a Raptor and his work in the post, when he'd either go inside or shoot over a helpless defender. With 20 points, 9.4 rebounds per game, and 5 All-Star appearances, Chris Bosh is easily the best center who ever played north of the border. Utah Jazz, Rudy Gobert. Here we have the duo of great defensive centers, both 2-time defensive players of the year, and despite Mark Eaton being the NBA all-time leader in blocks per game,
a little
played
bitch,
more
though.
games for the Jazz, I'd still choose Rudy Gobert over him, simply because the French Eiffel Tower is much more mobile and more usable on offense. Washington Wizards, Wes Unseld. Despite being only 6'7" and averaging just over 10 points for his career, Wes Unseld is undoubtedly the #1 center and player to ever play for the Wizards, then Bullets. He's the only player to spend his entire career with the team. He's the only player to win the MVP, which he amazingly did as a rookie. And most importantly, he was the Finals MVP for the franchise first and the only championship in 1978.
Fair play. Like I said, these history ones are just quick videos where we can kind of... It's more there for me to learn the names. And I could just watch these on my own, but I thought, you know what? It makes a video. You know, and like I said, I really need to start focusing more on now so we can learn the players now and understand who those players are. But look, let me know what you think of that down below. Is there any centers that you think should have been there? Is there any that were there you thought, what the hell are they doing on that list? And of course, let me know that down in the comments. Of course, hit the like button and the subscribe button. Hope you'll have a great day. Peace.